Good morning.
Good morning.
My message this morning is called The Fire of the Soul. And any guesses of what that means or what it relates to? Well,
Not hot flashes?
Yeah, there you go. A lot of people might say that. But Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, defines it like this. He says, zeal is the fire of the soul. Zeal is intensity, passion, enthusiasm, the inward fire of the soul that urges man onward regardless of caution. And how often do we become enthusiastic about something? We just really catch on fire and think, oh, this is the newest, greatest thing. Maybe we're going to get a new car or a new home, and of course we're going to be excited about it. We're going to be charged up with energy. Or maybe we're getting attention from someone and we think, oh, this love is really great, and isn't this fabulous? And we get charged up and feel like our soul's on fire with that energy of love. Well, it is the affirmative impulse of existence. Its command is go forward. And so naturally, when we feel that energy, we do feel ourselves moving forward in the direction of the next step that we are to go, the next place we are to be. And we just throw caution to the wind sometimes, don't we?
Yeah.
That zeal and enthusiasm just makes us like so energized, and we just want to go. And we know that it might or might not work out, correct?
Yep.
However, when zeal and wisdom work together, great things can be accomplished. So the whole concept of zeal, which is the power for this month, is important to tether to wisdom. And I love zeal. I love the power of zeal. It's always been my favorite power because, you know, I could be pretty zealous. And believe it or not, I used to be more zealous. I used to really like get on some people's nerves because I was always energized and always feeling like Crazy Warren back there. He's making sign language to me. But, you know, I think we all could be in that place where we like let ourselves go and let ourselves be overly charged with zeal and energy. Well, being overzealous is when our energy is too hyped up. It's when we want something done and we want it now. And unfortunately, when we get energized about something and we get zealous about it, that's what can happen. We can, you know, be on this supercharge and everybody else is still moving like this. And then we get in there and get it all done, and usually what happens? We get upset, or they're not even helping me. Or the people around you are all going like, man, she's just going crazy. You know, she's just going 90 to nothing. Or, you know, we sit there and go crazy like that, and then all of a sudden we're exhausted. And it takes us 2 days to get caught up. Anybody ever do that? Yeah, I know. And it can be something as simple as, I'm going to go in there and clean out that one junk drawer. And before long, we're on a path to clean the whole kitchen and take everything out of the cabinets. And, you know, we're on, like, super hyper mode. But when we tether it with wisdom, we'll catch ourselves and not allow ourselves to get in that place. It changes the whole dynamics, really. You know, and, you know, the people that do try to keep up with you, you're just going to, what, upset them, aren't you? Because they are going to feel like they're not worthy. Or what happens is if you start feeling like you have to do it all yourself, then pretty soon you don't ask anybody to help you at all. You just sit there and think, oh, well, I'm not going to ask anybody because they're not going to help me anyway, or they're not going to do it the way I want to do it, or whatever. And it is a part of letting go, which is next month's power. But it's a point, there's a point in there that wisdom says to you, hey, you know, do you think you could do this differently? Do you think you could handle this differently? And if we don't listen to that, then we do. We just wear ourselves out, get ourselves burned out, or think we have no friends in the world. When there are people that'll help. But it takes us letting go and letting somebody do it their way. Because, like I said last time, we might do something and we think it's perfect, and somebody will come along like, what? You like this? You know, because it's not the way they're seeing it or doing it. But that's where our own zeal has to be, again, tethered with wisdom, and we have to say, hey, that's a different perspective. That's okay. That's fine. You know, Marie and I when she would come hi Maria, if you're online, would come and work with me on Wednesdays, you know, she was really fun because I could just say, go do this, and she'd say, well, how do you want it? I said, I don't care, just do it. And it was funny because she'd just start doing it, and then if she got stuck, she'd ask me questions. But it wasn't like, you know how when you ask somebody to help you do something and they're either like glued to you where you can't even do it, or they're sitting there going, you know, 30 minutes trying to figure out what they're supposed to do next. I mean, she's never done it that way. And so her and I work together good. But it's not everybody that you have that chemistry with to be able to do that, you know, because you all do your own thing. But when you think about being excited about something and you use the power of wisdom, then all of a sudden you open up a new pathway. You open up this place that the fire of your soul will allow you to be calm and to be seen a different way, or to know that other people's ideas might actually work and help. So, from Atom Smashing Power Mind, Fillmore says this: zeal should be tempered with wisdom. It is possible to be so zealously active on the intellectual plane that one's vitality is consumed and there is nothing left for spiritual growth. Take time to be holy. I love that line, don't you? Take time to be holy. Never neglect your soul. To grow spiritually, you should exercise your zeal in spiritual ways. Now, we have seen people get on fire about church. And I know the first time you come to a Unity church, it's like, whoa, this is where I need to be.
Absolutely.
And you know that you get on fire. But to go out and tell somebody else about it, and for them to be like thinking you're not cuckoo or whatever, then you have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to approach this with the idea that everybody's on a spiritual plane and everybody wants to grow and we all want to grow together. We can't get in their face and go, you got to come to my church, you got to come to my church. Although the person that invited me did that for 10 years, and then I finally showed up. It's a true story. But we have seen people that get on fire and they embrace it and they want to be involved. And then what happens? They think they either have done it all or they get upset with somebody and they quit coming. Which is what? Immature. It's not using wisdom. It's just, you know, falling into your own ego, your own trap. The other thing that happens too is their soul might be on fire with these truth principles, and they're thinking, oh wow, this is fabulous, and then all of a sudden they think, oh yeah, well I can get this from a book. I don't even have to participate. Wrong, because we can get things from a book, but that's when we are in that intellectual plane, participating with other people, being in the same consciousness, being in the same energy as other people who are thinking the same way you are, changes everything. It elevates that consciousness. It elevates us to feel that fire in our soul and to be living from that fire in the soul. And I don't know about you, but that's where I want to be, huh? Yes? Amen to that? So taking time to fire your soul is something that you have to think about, because, you know, on a cold night, what do? You go out there, you get all this wood, you pile it all up and set it on fire, and then when it goes out, the fire is gone, right? Or do you build a fire, have a pile of wood to the side, and slowly bring the wood over, and slowly keep the fire going all night long? That's what we want to do. And that's what wisdom does. If you're overzealous, you're just making a big bonfire and the thing's done. But if you are using wisdom, then you've got this nice glowing fire, and you feed it every so often and keep the fire going. And that's using wisdom along with that to keep that fire of your soul balanced, to keep it in that place where we want to be, where we want to be able to be together with someone else. So the fire of soul kind of came to me, and I Googled it, and I was really surprised because there's a lot of music, quotes, songs, what else? Poems, a lot of poems that use that phrase. But the figurative meaning of the fire of the soul is intense passion. To have fire in the soul means to be deeply passionate about something, be it goals, life, or a person, leading to a high level of energy and motivation. Wouldn't you agree? It's that intense passion. I love that. Intense passion. And sometimes we forget that we have that intense passion. especially if we're talking about, a person or our own life. Because we can feel like we're on fire, like we love this person so much, and we're just soulmates, and we're just like here forever. And then what happens?
Life.
Yeah. We go down the wrong path of life, because life is a 12th power too. For December, life is a power. And I'll tell you, you have to realize that whatever is happening in your life is to help you to continue to fuel that fire of love that you have for that person, or for your life, or for whatever it is that you're doing. So we have to be able to change our thoughts about that and know that the fire of the soul is something that is here to help us. That power of zeal is here to help us, to keep us alive and alert and enthusiastic. And the kids' youth church has a song that goes like that. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Alert, awake, enthusiastic.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, and it's a good one. Okay, it also says that it's your spiritual intensity. The fire of the soul is your spiritual intensity. It can also describe a powerful spiritual or divine presence, such as the burning love of God or the Holy Spirit within a person. Now, when we have activated zeal, believe it or not, we're feeling that energy of God in an intense way, in a way that like is a powerhouse for us. It's like plugging into the electricity. And when we recognize that, we can use that whenever we need to. When we say we're tired or the fall, sometimes I have allergy fatigue, I call it. And so I was experiencing that this last week, and I told Reverend Warren, I said, God, I'm just so tired. I just feel like I've got the boots on. Then I go, oh, it's the allergy fatigue from the fall leaves and everything, and all that, dust and dirt and everything. So I said to myself, I said, okay, no, you're going to use the power of zeal. You're not going to allow this to make you tired. And that's what we have to do. We have to tell ourselves, no, I feel the energy. I can keep up. I can feel that more than I can feel the allergic reaction that I was having. And I cancel that out. I say, no, I'm not going to let that have power over me. And so all these little examples, though, are ways that we can activate zeal in our life and activate it using the power of wisdom to balance it. Because if we don't, we're just going to be up here like this going, ha! And everybody around us will get crazy because we'll be, oh. But I think that all of us here are here because we have that fire of the soul. I think all of us are here to continue to keep that the fire within our soul activated and fueled, and keep getting these tidbits. And I always say you never know where you're going to get it. It could be something somebody says to you that Sunday. It could be the song or the meditation. It could be, hopefully it's our messages, and it could be a prayer or a prayer request that somebody else did that touches something within us that allows us to see that the reason why we're here, that connection with God, the feeling that we have. And it is in that continues to bring us back and continues to want us to grow. And that's God working in and through you. In fact, I know that I have felt stronger in my beliefs because of each of you. I hope you know that. We all are here to grow together. And for every bit of growth you guys have, I have had that too. And our hope is that each of you have felt stronger in your beliefs by all of us. Not just Reverend Warren and I, but all of us. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to help each other grow and grow more and more. And it might not even be a spiritual thing you say. It could just be something that triggers something in somebody that makes them feel that presence of God within. We never know what that's going to be, and we have to be aware of it. And we know that as we grow, we open up a portal of love, strength, wisdom, and yes, zeal for us to share. That's why we're forming the teams. We get to share zeal and help create this community, this church, this home, and make it even better, because we're all going to be working together and sharing in that energy of that fire of the soul, which I think is huge. Adam Smashing Power Mind Fillmore wrote this: zeal is the great universal force. We could just stop right there. That impels man to spring forward in a field of endeavor and accomplish the seemingly miraculous. This church is proof of that. This building is proof of that. We all came together and made it happen. And to think that just how it all happened is just a miraculous thing. It is the inward fire that urges man onward, regardless of the intellectual mind of caution and conversation. So when we are feeling the energy of, and we know we're supposed to move forward, don't get bogged down with the intellectual thoughts that we have about that. Don't sit there and go overthink it. Don't sit there and go, oh, now what do I do? Oh, let me think. I can do this, this. No, just take the next step. Whatever that is, take that next step that's going to lead you in the direction that you need to be. And do it with zeal. Do it with passion. Do it with energy. Because God's there with you. And God will steer you in the right direction. If we allow it, that's where wisdom bounces back in. To be without zeal, though, is to be without the zest for living. We don't want to be without zeal. Because no matter what is happening in our lives, it doesn't matter. It's just happening. It's just there happening. And if we can say that to ourselves, we don't get bogged down with anything that could seem depressing or anything that could seem overwhelming or anything that seems like it's the end of the world. We don't have to go there. We don't have to feel that. We can release that and say, wait, I've got the power of zeal and God is within me and I can activate this. And it changes everything. And is it going to make you feel supercharged? I don't know. But if you feel better than you did when you were down here, then aren't you going in the right direction? Yeah, I would say yes. And if you're experiencing that with somebody that you know that they just seem like they're down all the time, just little words of encouragement or give them one of those generic, I call it generic, but timeless daily words. Give them something that they can have and read to themselves and say, hey, you know, this is a good word for today. Whatever it is, you can help charge them up with zeal and enthusiasm. And that's what we're here to do. These are tools that we are freely given that we get to share with other people. Zeal and enthusiasm incite to glorious achievement in every aim and ideal that the mind conceives. Can you see that? Can you understand that? Because when we have an idea, it could be a divine idea. And if we just sit there and go, oh, well, it's not, I'm not going to do that. No, we could activate zeal. We can say, hey, I have some passion for that thought. I like that statement. What can I do with that statement? That's what I do with my talks. I mean, God sends me this line, and I'm like, okay, yeah, what am I supposed to do with this, you know? And then I write it down, or I put it in my phone, and then I come back to it, and I'm like, oh, all this is coming, you know? And that's what we do. So all we have to do is recognize the idea. When we recognize the idea, zeal will kick in and lift us and push us forward and help us to determine what is ours to do. And a way we can check ourselves and determine if it's ours to do is to remember this. Energy is zeal in motion. Isn't that cool? Energy is zeal in motion. Energy is the forerunner of every effect. Never repress the impulse, the force, the zeal welling up within you. Praise it for its great energy and efficiency in action. When we're feeling lethargic or tired, and maybe we did have a long day, maybe we've done a lot this week, maybe we did end up cleaning out all the kitchen cabinets and we're sitting there totally exhausted. If you have a thought, a good thought, and it feels like it's stirring something within you, then write it down and tell yourself, okay, I might not have the energy right now, but I'm going to put some energy to this. And you know what will happen? In the night, you'll be thinking about it subconsciously. And in the morning, you'll wake up supercharged. Because that's how the divine ideas work. That's how the divine works within us. And so it's a cool thing to do, no matter how you're feeling on the outside. There was and that's when we consciously activate zeal. There was a song I heard, and the line of the song says this. Oh, no, I got to do this one because this is important. Sorry. Charles Fillmore's favorite quote is this quote. This was the bonfire this week that Reverend Ward set out. It's still smoldering out here. But the cool part was I came over, and they do some stuff, and I was coming down Crowd, and so the burn is over here. But it was weird because I looked over and it was just like blue. And I thought, God, it looked like somebody tarped the rental house over there, like, you know, like they do for bugs or whatever. I mean, it looked like that shade of blue and everything. And as I come around, I realized it was the fire and the smoke was blue, which is a very spiritual expression there. But so that was pretty cool. But anyway, Charles Filmer's favorite quote, all-time favorite quote was this: "I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me." Will you say it with me? But you got to say it with zeal and enthusiasm. Here we go.
I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith
to do the things that ought to be done by me. Can you do that?
Yes.
Yes. So we activated the power of zeal just now by saying that quote. When we affirm zeal in our lives and we know we are enthusiastic, we're activating it. And we just did that with that quote. And back to the song, there was a song that I looked at, and the lyric was this in the song: "We've got a fire that will never burn out." And we can remember this. We can remember that the fire of the soul will never burn out. The fire of the soul is not going anywhere. The fire of the soul is God within us, and it's always there. And we get to enjoy it and utilize it in our lives, and that's a powerful thing. And we will be able to do great things with this. It is the fire of the soul. Thank you for being here today. I got a special treat for you for a song. So B and John have started doing these. They take their poems and they put them on an AI app and then turn them into a song. And so B had read the little synopsis for this Sunday, and she ended up making a song. Isn't that a pretty picture of that, Gary? Yeah. Anyway, so she put together the song. The lyrics are hard to see on this because it was done on the phone, and it's an app. So, but you can still hear them and see it. But it was beautiful and it's quite fun. A new thing for me. Here we go.